Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You leftoids don't just get to walk away from this embarrassing moment. No, of course not. He's your boy. It's your guy. The future face of the Democrat Party, at least that's what was said at the time. And no, I'm not talking about Pete Booty Buttcheeks. I'm not talking about California Governor Gavin Newsom. We're talking about the one and only Michael Avenatti. A brave hero standing up for, I don't know, democracy or something, standing up to the orange man, a hero to be revered, an icon to be emulated, an inspiration, a man who belongs in the history books for taking down the evil orange Hitler. That's what the leftists told us, but of course, Michael Avenatti, since the start, only ever belonged in one place, and that's a damn federal penitentiary. Well friends, Michael Avenatti is finally where he belongs, sentenced to federal prison for 14 years for tax and wire fraud. The Trump curse is a real thing, folks. It's a real phenomenon. These poor Democrats just lost one of their top Democrat nomination contenders heading into 2024. What are they ever going to do? Let me show you guys what's going on. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, take a look at this. Breaking. Michael Avenatti sentenced to 14 years in prison for tax and wire fraud. Attorney Michael Avenatti, who rose to fame representing adult film actress Stormy Daniels in her litigation against former President Donald Trump, was sentenced in Orange County Monday to 14 years in federal prison for tax and wire fraud. U.S. District Judge James Selna said Avenatti's sentence will run consecutively or on top of the 5 years he is already serving for convictions in New York for an extortion scheme against Nike and for stealing from Daniels. He made an open plea to resolve most of the charges against him in Santa Ana, meaning he had no guarantee what punishment prosecutors would seek. It is a rare move for defendants because they have no idea what punishment they may face. Avenatti, who won a mistrial motion last year when Selna found prosecutors had withheld evidence that the attorney was seeking to use in his trial, said he made the open plea to spare the 5 victims another trial, the court system the expense, and because he could not reach an agreement on a plea deal with the prosecutors. In the sentencing recommendation, federal prosecutors said Avenatti's schemes followed a general pattern in which he would lie about the true terms of the settlement agreement that he had negotiated for the client, conceal the settlement payments that the counterparty had made, secretly take and spend the settlement proceeds that belonged to the client, and lull the client into not complaining or investigating further by providing small advances on the supposedly yet-to-be-paid funds. Prosecutors also said that he was a tax cheat and cited his failure to pay payroll taxes after his firm acquired Tully's Coffee in bankruptcy and then obstructed the IRS when the agency attempted to collect the amount due. Prosecutors argue Avenatti stole $12.35 million from his clients, failed to pay about $3.2 million in payroll taxes from the coffee company, and $1.6 million in payroll taxes from his law firm. In other words, Michael Avenatti is a fraud and a crook, and everybody basically saw it from the start except for the blue anon, Trump hysteria, Trump derangement syndrome, your brain on CNN and your brain on MSNBC Twitter folk. Pretty much everybody could see this guy for who he is, except for, as I stated, the blue anon people, and of course, left-wing media hacks.
He's Donald Trump's worst nightmare, Michael Avenatti.
Joining us once again is Michael Avenatti.
Let's bring in Michael Avenatti.
Michael Avenatti. Michael Avenatti.
Michael Avenatti, thank you very much.
He's out there saving the country.
Don Meacham says he may be the savior of the republic.
You are something of a folk hero now.
I owe Michael Avenatti an apology. I've been saying enough already, Michael. I've seen you everywhere. What do you have left to say? I was wrong, brother. You have a lot to say. I am just dying to hear what you think.
These people all like you.
I'm the only person right here Donald Trump fears more than Robert Mueller.
We knew who this guy was. He was as sleazy as they come. I mean, this is how Tucker Carlson was treating Michael Avenatti when he showed up on his show.
Absolute.
So when she wants to get your legal advice, does she have to pretend to be a booker from CNN to get through to you?
You know, that's disgusting. Why don't you show
what's
some
disgusting
respect?
is
why don't you show some respect to my
client
client and me and stop calling us a porn star and a creepy lawyer? If you've got that big a problem with porn, do you have that big a problem with porn?
I'm not making fun of.
When's the last time?
Slow down.
When's the last time you saw porn?
Oh, you busted me. Actually, I meant the humiliation That's why I watch you on CNN.
No, but when's the last time you viewed?
Meanwhile, on CNN, Brian Stelter had a different approach.
One reason why I'm taking you seriously as a contender is because of your presence on cable news.
They were pushing this guy to run for president. I mean, talk about supporting a sleazebag. All the meanwhile telling you that the real scumbag was Donald Trump. Donald Trump has to go. He's a corrupt, evil, Russia-compromised billionaire, and he should be replaced with, wait for it, Michael Avenatti. This is what I mean by Trump hysteria. It clouds people's visions. I don't know if it's authentic or it's just all for show, but Democrats were so desperate and are still so desperate to stop Donald Trump from ever attaining power that they're willing to promote anyone or anything as his replacement. I mean, I'm pretty sure if Kanye West announced tomorrow that he was running as a Democrat and he was polling as the #1 Democrat in the primary season, they would instantly, without question, rally behind him. They're always pretending like they have such high standards. You know, I played this clip yesterday from Mika Brzezinski on MSNBC. We were focused on a different context from the clip, but she went on to criticize Herschel Walker as being an unqualified candidate.
You know, Herschel Walker, Charlie, is unfit for the job, and it's embarrassing. It seems a little racist and condescending in a million different ways. He is unmoored. He seems to have a lot of problems, but just intellectually, he's clearly not even remotely close to being up for the job, completely unfit.
Meanwhile, these are the same people who voted for and constantly promote Joe Biden, John Fetterman, Jerry Nadler. You know, the list goes on. And cognitive issues aside, Democrats going on about quality candidates of character. Not only did they elect an absolute incompetent geriatric who can't speak and can barely walk, I'd say honestly that's probably the smallest red flag when looking at Joe. He's a chronic child sniffer, has a history of being absolutely inappropriate with young individuals in his presence. He said some of the most racist things any politician has ever uttered, and he's, I don't know, possibly a compromised asset, working with his literal crackhead son, peddling influence to foreign nations during the 8 years of his vice presidency, and most likely beyond that, in his 50+ years serving in American government. Oh, but Donald Trump, that guy's a real bad guy. Oh, Carrie Lake, she's extreme. Ron DeSantis is a literal fascist, they tell us, turning the state of Florida into a Jim Crow 2.0 hellscape. Meanwhile, they pushed Michael Avenatti as a presidential contender. The media and frankly the whole Democrat establishment is so corrupt and busted. I mean, just think about it. It's almost like the Sam Bankman-Fried phenomenon. As long as you take their side, as long as you attack Donald Trump, as long as you pretend to be woke, they will promote you without a second thought. All Michael Avenatti had to do was take on the whole Stormy Daniels saga, and he instantly overnight became a hero, despite all of the red flags. The Democrat establishment is like a 35-year-old bombshell knockout woman who's still single and is stuck saying all the time, I can't find a good man. There's no good men out there. But yet continues to get with the biggest douches you could possibly imagine, ignores all of the red flags, and just falls for whoever's saying the right things, and is questioning why they get themselves in that position all the time. It's all just so crazy, and especially in hindsight. You know, I remember this stuff like it happened yesterday. Michael Avenatti on every single primetime show, night after night after night, 2 years of seeing Stormy Daniels' face in the news, the media pushing this nonsense over and over again, as if this was the beginning of the end for Donald Trump. And what ended up happening? Stormy Daniels was forced to pay Donald Trump's legal fees, handed a devastating, publicly humiliating defeat in the public, and of course in the legal system. Her shady conman lawyer, who was revered as a Democrat hero, it turns out that he was stealing from Stormy Daniels. And then fast forward a couple years later, Democrat 2024 hopeful Michael Avenatti is sentenced to 14 years in federal prison. I mean, I'm not the most superstitious person on the planet, but this is one of two things. It's either karma or the incredible widespread phenomenon known as the Trump curse. All these phony individuals trying to make names and careers off attacking Donald Trump all end up falling in the most spectacular of fashion. Michael Avenatti seems to be the latest victim. Although, to be honest, he fell victim to the Trump curse a while ago. This is just the final result, the final culmination. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel if you guys are up for it. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.